So why is it that anytime you buy any type of TV, the sound quality is always really, really bad? It kind of forces you to go out and look for other solutions to make that sound even better and richer with more bass and that sort of thing. And that's the product that I'm going to walk through today. So stay tuned. Hey, it's HighTechDad, and welcome to my channel where I review all types of tech products for the home, for on the go, and at work. I do how-tos and fix-it videos, and you can also read some of my content on my website at HighTechDad.com. And today, I'm sitting on my daughter's room floor here, and we're going to be looking at setting up a sound bar. Now, the box is pretty big, so pay attention. Did you see that? So this is the iLive 45-inch HD soundbar. So we're going to go through the unboxing, what you get in the box, how to set it up, and then I'm going to be putting it through some tests to see if this is worthy of staying in my daughter's room so that she can experience even better movies and music listening and that type of thing. And I'm hoping that my wife doesn't steal it for her office. So let's go into the unboxing. Let's take a look at the box of the iLive 45-inch HD soundbar. So as you can see, it says it has satellite speakers and a wireless subwoofer. It also says wireless subwoofer included. So it looks like there's a lot of things that are wireless here. This is what you get in the package, and we'll see the cables and other things. Bluetooth 5.1. This is a 4.1 channel surround sound setup. It's got HDMI ARC. It's got a optical audio input, aux in. There's a remote, and there is actually an optical cable included. I have one somewhere, but it's nice that it comes in the box. So let's see what else is on the box. It just shows that the satellite speakers are detachable, or you can have them attached to the soundbar itself, and pretty much the same stuff on the backside. So let's take a look what's inside the box here. All right, so hopefully I won't destroy this box in the process. Oh, that's kind of nice. We're raising the soundbar. Always like a little bit of witty humor. So what you get first off is the soundbar itself. So this is all nicely packaged for shipping. We'll take off the plastic of all these things in a little bit, but this is the soundbar. You can sort of see the dimensions on it. Next thing that looks like maybe the easiest to get out. This looks like the wireless subwoofer. So taking off the packaging, so you can see, not too big, maybe the size of a small trash can. Try to find a place for this in the room. Then we have a package that has remote controls, power adapters, and other cables. So we'll open that up in a second. Hopefully you can see that. Then there are two satellite speakers. It looks like these attach onto the end of the soundbar itself. We'll take that out of the plastic in a second. And it looks like that's about it. Some empty boxes to play with, just for packaging. So let's take off the plastic and see what we're dealing with. All the plastic is off, except for one thing. So let's get up close and personal with each of the things here. So this is the soundbar itself. You can see it's fairly flat in terms of profile, so only a couple of inches, so it won't block your TV. It's got some nice padding on the bottom. It's got some controls on the top, changing the source and the power, adjusting volume and Bluetooth. There's some more information that was already on the box that I talked about. Then on the back side, hopefully you can see this, there is an HDMI ARC input, the optical in, aux in, and then where you plug in the power. So that's the soundbar itself. These are the satellite speakers, and they are labeled on the back right and left. They have an attachment that goes onto the end of the sound bars that gives it power, but there is also a USB Type-C connection here so that you can charge them up separately. And just to jump over to the cables here, there is a USB-A to USB-C that you can use for charging. So there are two of those. Has a nice little mesh covering over the speaker. And then we have the subwoofer. So you can see fairly large. I don't know if you can hear that. It's got a simple on off and power in. So let's take a look at the stuff that was in the accessory pack. So first of all, there is a wall mount template that you can use. I'm not going to be wall mounting, just going to leave it sitting below the TV. And there's some brackets that come with it as well, leaving that in the package. Then you have the remote control, comes with batteries. This can control it once you have it all hooked up. You have two power adapters, one for the subwoofer, one for the soundbar. You have the two USB A and C cables for the satellite speakers. And then you have the optical cable. There is a quick start guide that walks you through the initial connection. From what I understand, you set it up first with Bluetooth, and then you can do the rest of the stuff once it's configured. And then there is a manual that goes into greater detail on how you should hook it up. So now that we have all this together, I'm going to take a look at my TV to see what connections it can take. Again, there are 3 ways to connect it, or 4. You can do Bluetooth, you can do optical, you can do aux, and you can do HDMI. So I'm going to figure out which one works best. So according to the quick start guide, the first thing you're going to do is set up a Bluetooth connection. So I don't have it powered on yet, but I was able to magically connect power cables behind a dresser, which was kind of a pain in the butt. But here I'm plugging it in, and it just said Bluetooth that it is ready to go. I'm going to grab my iPhone to connect it, and then let's see how the setup goes. Got my test iPhone here, going to log in, and now I actually see the Bluetooth speaker showing up here. It's the ITBS W423, connecting to it. There's a little Bluetooth connected, and it just said that the Bluetooth is connected. So that's all there is that you need to do when you set it up for the first connection. The next thing to do is to connect the subwoofer to it, which I'm going to do in just a second. To connect the Bluetooth or the wireless speaker, all you need to do is power it on. So I do have it plugged in, turning it on, and let's see what happens. Chime sounds like it's connected. So I think we're good to go. So now it's time to crank some music and see how this works via Bluetooth. All right, so I don't know if you can hear the music. I have it pretty soft, but we got the Bluetooth light. There are 2 red lights on each of the satellite speakers, and that indicates that they're charging. I can feel the bass coming out. I can crank this up using my iPhone. So there you go, some old school Clash for you. It sounds really good. So now I'm going to go in and work on connecting the TV that is behind me here. I did take a look at the connections in the back, and there's a picture here of what I found on the back. So they do recommend that the easiest thing is to use an HDMI cable using the ARC setting, because that'll control things. but you have to have an HDMI out on something. So normally you would put that with the receiver where you have an HDMI coming in from your source, and then from the receiver you can have an out that maybe goes to the TV or something else. Long story short, it's going to be a lot easier for me to use the optical cable, which I'm excited about because that's really good fidelity sound that'll come out of the TV. And of course, there is always the option of using an aux cable, which is like the headphone cable, but that's sort of last resort, in my opinion. So if you've never worked with a optical cable for audio, it really is an amazing technology. I mean, this is fiber optics. It's transmitting the sound through glass fiber. But the thing that you may not know if you've never worked with one of these cables before is it does come with some protective covers over the input and output. So you have to be sure that you remove those. So these little plastic things, you want to make sure that you remove those. Otherwise, you won't be able to fit it in and you'll be like, well, this doesn't work for me. So be sure you remove those little things. And then when you attach it to either the soundbar or the TV, make sure that it pops in well and snaps in, because you have to make sure there's no light anyway coming in to mess up your audio signal. So I'm going to go set that up and we'll see how it all works. So I have the optical cable in, and the nice thing is that the remote control has the 4 sources right here on the top. So I don't know if you can see this, but you can toggle between Bluetooth, optical, HDMI, or auxiliary. And but whenever you change the source, it'll speak through the speaker what source you switch to.
Bluetooth. Bluetooth connected. Optical in. HDMI. Auxiliary.
So that's kind of nice. And you can also change the source directly on the top.
Bluetooth. Optical in.
So the same thing that you can do with the remote, you can do on there, but there are some other things. You can adjust bass and treble on the remote. You can adjust the type of sound coming out, music, movie, dialogue. You have play and pause. This probably won't work unless you're using Bluetooth, or if you have the HDMI connected and using ARC, it may be able to control things. And then you also have power and mute on the remote. So the last part of the test was actually removing the satellite speakers from their from the soundbar here where they were charging. And when I first removed them, turned it on, nothing happened. There is a tiny little on-off switch on the back that you need to turn on, and then it automatically connects. So you got to make sure that when you're doing the setup that you have them connected in directly to the soundbar, and then later, once it's fully charged or somewhat charged, you can detach them. It just sort of pivots a little and comes out. It takes a little bit of practice, but then once you have it detached and you turn the power on, they are fully remote speakers that you can put around the room, which is kind of cool. And one more note about the satellite speakers. You can just leave the switch on and then you're sure that it's using all of the speakers in the soundbar. So right now it's showing red, you probably can't see it, and white, a little white light here that says it is on and connected. So let's go through some of the specs on that. And I have to admit, I'm going to cheat a little. I have some information here because I don't want to get anything wrong. So the important thing to know is that it says it's a 45-inch soundbar, and that is from the end of one satellite with the soundbar to the end of the other satellite. The main soundbar itself is 32 inches. And so don't be deceived by if you see 45 inches on things. The main soundbar is 32 inches. So it's got 4.1 channels. So the point one is obviously the subwoofer, and then there are 2 speakers in the main soundbar, and then you have the 2 satellite speakers. And I've already gone through the different types of connectivity things. So you have Bluetooth, you have HDMI, you have optical audio, and auxiliary audio as well. So it comes, as you saw, with the remote control, all the cables, all the adapters, and things like that. In terms of price points, so this is kind of an interesting thing. On the iLive website, it's listed for about $220. It's not currently on Amazon, but you can get it at Best Buy for about $160 and Walmart for about $170. But I encourage you to take a look at the sites and look for sales and that sort of thing. And I'll put some links below in the description. So this works great with just about anything. I mean, it's really good for that really crappy audio that comes out of a TV. That's the best use case, but you can connect it to your iPhone, your iPad, your laptop for music streaming and that sort of thing. You could hook it up to a gaming system potentially. And it seems to perform quite well. You can adjust the bass and the treble using the remote control, and it's really loud. I'm sure that if my daughters put it really loud, we're going to be complaining and our neighbors are going to hear it. So what do you guys think? Is this something that's pretty compelling? I think it's actually a pretty good entry-level soundbar. It's not going to break the bank. I mean, there are other obviously higher end soundbars out there that are really made for that home theater kind of setup. This is great for a bedroom or for maybe a family room or somewhere where you want to have that extra sound, that extra bass, the ability to put the satellite speakers somewhere else. One note about the satellite speakers, I haven't fully charged them yet. And I don't know how long they will last without a charge. So that is an unknown. We'll be obviously testing it out. Who knows? Maybe I'll just, or my daughters will just leave it connected to the soundbar and just leave it at that and not have things around the room. But I'm going to encourage them for movies to put some the satellite speakers elsewhere in the room to really get that immersive experience. Anyway, I hope you liked this review. I hope you found it helpful. If you did, I would appreciate a thumbs up, a subscription to get notifications. I post a lot of reviews on my YouTube channel, and by showing that you like it, it's going to help the algorithm and suggest things to you that may be interesting, including my content. If you have any questions, you can go to my Facebook page at facebook.com/HTD blog. If you have questions and you're on social media, just search for @HighTechDad or HighTechDad. I'm on a lot of different social media platforms. And of course, you can always go to my website, and that's at HighTechDad.com. Thanks to iLive for sending me out the product sample. Really helps for me to get products like this to be able to do reviews for people. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next review.